Ladies and gentlemen, it actually happened. I'm sorry I'm recording on my phone, but I really wanted to just get my initial reactions out of the way, and I wanted to do it quickly. So, yeah, James Harden is now a Philadelphia 76er, and Ben Simmons is now on the Brooklyn Nets, along with Seth Curry and Andre Drummond. A very interesting trade that looked like it was heading in that direction for a while now. By the way, I forgot to mention that please subscribe if you enjoy the content, leave a like, all that stuff, right? But put that all aside, this trade is crazy. And the fact that we got here is like crazy because the Nets are down bad. 9-game losing streak, sorry. KD's hurt, Kyrie's part-time. James Harden clearly was frustrated having to carry the load. I talked about it in my video last week, right? He was clearly not happy with the situation. It was not what he signed up for. And he deserved better, you know? I didn't blame him at all for not wanting to be there. This is not what he signed up for when he requested the trade to Brooklyn, right? He thought that everything would work out, having 3 of his boys, they'd win a championship, and it'd be great. But, that just hasn't happened. That's all it is. It just hasn't happened. And now he's going to the Philadelphia 76ers, a very fascinating situation because especially with the way that the Sixers have been playing, Joel Embiid is clearly the front runner for MVP right now. If I had to bet money on it, he ends up winning it, right? He's having an unbelievable season, right? And I'm just so happy that the Ben Simmons saga is over. I'm so happy it's finally over. This should have happened so long ago, Ben Simmons getting traded. And look, credit to Daryl Morey, I was wrong. I was thinking that it was ridiculous that he held off on a trade for so long because he wanted a superstar in return for Ben Simmons. And I was like, there is no way in hell anything of that's going to happen, right? I was like, you're not going to get Damian Lillard or De'Aaron Fox or Jeremy Grant. Like, you're not getting anyone significant for Ben Simmons, right? Unless you package in like a haul, right? But credit to Daryl Morey, that madman. He got James fucking Harden. And look, James Harden is not having a great year, right? And that's honestly part of the whole, getting out situation. But, hey, good for him, right? He actually got it done. He traded Ben Simmons, which was something that, God, I was hoping it would happen, right? And Brooklyn became a destination not too long ago, and it works, right? I'm happy that Ben Simmons is gone. I'm really hoping that this works out for him because clearly the Philly stuff was just not working out, right? And you can say that a lot of it was his fault, a lot of it wasn't his fault, right? I think you can make a case for both. But bottom line is, this is a new situation. Hopefully he's better now. They're saying he's vaccinated, so that's obviously a big plus, right? Because Kyrie isn't right now. So I think that in terms of the basketball fit of it, it's a good situation for both. Ben Simmons with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving is a really good team. A scary team, actually, because Ben Simmons really can just do his game. He can be the playmaker. He can be the distributor, play great defense. He really doesn't have to do much on offense, right? Kyrie and KD can handle that, right? And I think that's a good situation for him, right? He's playing in a role where he's not the number 2 offensive option like he was in Philly behind Embiid, right? And people thought he was the number 1 instead of Embiid, which was insane, but still. It's crazy to think about him being in Brooklyn now because he does make that team really, really good. And whether it works out or not, we'll have to find out, obviously, through time, but we'll see, man. And, of course, all of this comes down to, is Kyrie even going to play, right? Because KD's going to come back from his injury probably by the end of the All-Star break, probably right after that. But Kyrie's still not eligible to play. We don't know what the situation is going to be with the vaccine, the mandate or whatever. There's reports that New York might lift the rule. And if that happens, then Kyrie can be full-time even if he isn't vaccinated. And that would make things very interesting, obviously. But we'll see how that goes. But I love that situation for Ben Simmons. Hopefully it works out for him. He's still young. He's still talented. It's still crazy to me how he hasn't played a game this season. That's wild to me. But, yeah, we'll see how that goes. And then for the Phillies side of it, first of all, to keep Tyrese Maxey and keep Matisse Thybulle, impressive. I really thought that one of those guys was going to have to be given up in order to get Harden. And I did not think that the deal would be. I didn't think that Matisse Thybulle or Tyrese Maxey were guys that you could stop this kind of deal for, right? If you can get James Harden, you get James Harden, no matter how you do it, right? And the fact that they managed to keep two very young, promising guys, especially Maxey with the way he's played this season, that's great. And you have that backcourt with him and Harden now. I think that's awesome because Harden can be the point guard, right? Which is what he played that basically in Brooklyn, right? And he really wasn't that in Houston, but I still think that's his role. Tyrese Maxey can just go back to being a scoring guard, right? He is not a great playmaker. That's one of his weaknesses. But in terms of just getting a bucket, that's what Tyrese Maxey does. So he can go back to doing that, and that's great for them. And the starting lineup for the Sixers is pretty scary to think about. Like, you have Harden, Maxey, you could have Tobias Harris, you could have, obviously, Embiid, you could put Danny Green there, you could put Korkmaz or Niang. There's a lot of good pieces to work with. And the fact that this team is so deep, especially in the wing position, the Sixers are scary, man. They were already scary with how good Embiid was playing, and now they're just even better. They were the fourth seed. They were basically hovering between third and fourth all the way up until this point with Embiid playing this great, and now you add Harden to that mix. It could go well, it could not, but the pick and roll game with him and Embiid is scary. Like, this could be the best teammate that Embiid plays with ever. I mean, it's hard to bet against Jimmy Butler with that year, but still, depending on how this season goes and how this goes in the playoffs, Harden feels like the right teammate for Embiid. You know what I mean? Just in terms of what both of them can do and how they complement each other's games on offense, especially with the pick and roll game. I think it could work really well, and that would be scary, very scary, because, people don't have answers for Embiid, and now you have to worry about Harden, who, even though he's not Houston Harden, he's still a great player. You can't deny that, right? So, man, this is just a crazy trade that went down. It's still crazy to me how, just like a year ago, or just over a year ago, Harden was in Houston, unhappy with the situation. The meme came with him looking like he was wearing a fat suit. Then he gets traded to Brooklyn, and it was like, okay, this is the one. This is going to be where he stays. This is going to be where they do everything and take care of business. And then it looked good last year, but then the injuries came, and they couldn't beat the Bucks. And then this year was just a mess from the start with Kyrie's situation. It was a mess from the start. And it's interesting because going into the season, the goal was to have all three of those guys locked up in extensions, like long-term deals. Kevin Durant's the only one who signed a long-term extension. Harden had basically teased the idea of going into free agency basically all the way until the start of the season, right? And it was always something interesting, like, hey, not saying he will leave, but hey, he's going to test free agency. Who knows? Well, it was basically heading into that way anyway, with the way that Woj talked about it earlier. He was probably going to sign with Philly in the free agency period next season anyway. So at least Brooklyn got a really good return in it. 2 first-round picks, Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, good return for them, right? Can't get mad at that at all. Andre Drummond's a decent pickup too. I think this was a win for both sides. Now, obviously, it's going to come down to how it translates on the court, but still, it's chaos, and I love chaos. The NBA is the king of chaos, and the more fun part is March 10th. That's the date where the Brooklyn Nets will play the Sixers in Philly. So it'll be Ben Simmons' return to Philly, which could be very interesting. I already know they're going to flex that to national television. It could be a very chaotic game just based off of the storylines alone. And then also the basketball part of it too. So, yeah, that's it. I just wanted to get my quick thoughts on this trade. I love the NBA for chaotic reasons like this. Just crazy, man, how this went down. But we're here now, and we'll see how this goes. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, please be sure to leave a like. Comment down below your thoughts on this trade. What do you think? Do you like it? Do you love it? Who wins the trade? Let me know what you think. And if you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe for more NBA content. And I'll have a video later on this weekend breaking down all of the other trades that happened in the trade deadline because there's a lot. There's a lot of trades, and a lot of them were very shocking, and I have to talk about them. So I'll do that. So keep an eye out for that later on. But yeah, thank you guys again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.